Good morning, wrestling fans. Welcome into another edition of AMW Television. We continue our Hall of Fame series again this week. We're looking at 2019 inductee Eddie the Driller Browning. Now, Eddie Browning, from right here in Hazard, Kentucky, started wrestling in the late 90s, was inducted into our Hall of Fame last year, still continues to lace the boots up every now and then. Eddie's one of those guys who's had a very, very well career and wrestled many of the likes of Ricky Morton, Bobby Eaton, and named so many others. Eddie Browning's wrestled for so many promotions in these mountains, wrestled all across the United States, wrestled up into Canada. So last year we honored him with the induction into the AMW Hall of Fame. On this week's program, we're going to take a look at a few classic Eddie Browning matches. We're also going to see his Hall of Fame induction ceremony from last year's Weekend of Champions, which you can see now on the AMW Wrestling Network. So let's get to it.
As Johnny Noble has signed this match, a handicap match against Eddie Browning and Roger Anderson, just so he could get at Eddie. I tell you, that's really got to show the vengeance that Johnny's got in mind for him.
Joe, you know that these two guys used to be tag team partners, talking about John Noble and Eddie Browning. They had a nasty breakup. They've been fighting for months now, and Johnny wants a piece of Eddie. It seems that every time they get in the ring, Eddie runs, he heads to the back, or he has a friend there. So Johnny said, hey, I want a piece of Eddie. I don't care what it takes, 1-on-2, 1-on-3, 1-on-4, as long as I get my hands on Eddie Browning, and that's what he's doing now, facing a 1-on-2 situation just so he can get his hands on his former partner, Eddie Browning.
Johnny Noble is ready to go here as he is kind of taped up there, extra support around his rib area as he is still feeling the effects of some of his previous altercations. But Johnny did the right thing there, got Eddie over in that corner and was able to get out of there before they trapped him in the corner and were able to take advantage with a double team. And that was a very good strategy, Jason.
Sure was, and Johnny, of course, has those ribs bandaged up, as you mentioned. He was attacked in the parking lot after one of the matches, and Eddie Browning was the instigator of that. He broke a couple of ribs, and Johnny, knowing him, the competitor that he is, he didn't want to take any time off. He continued to wrestle, and anytime you have a rib injury like that with broken ribs and you continue to work, it's going to take a lot longer to heal, and that's why Johnny still has those ribs bandaged up, wrapped up. They haven't fully healed yet, and Eddie Browning knows that. Roger Anderson knows that, so they're going to work on that when they get the opportunity.
Absolutely, if they get the chance, and Eddie just scrambling over into his corner, into the safety and refuge over there with Roger Anderson, as those ribs apparently are hurting Johnny a little bit already, as he was moving his arms around there, trying to loosen up a little bit, get those ribs going, as Roger Anderson now, big man coming to you from Greenville, Tennessee, and Ruthless Roger, of course, one half of former 8-time SSW Tag Team Champions, along with Frank the Tank Parker. And Roger knows how to take care of business, and he's going right to work on John Noble.
He knows how to do it in the singles ranks as well as tag team. You mentioned his partner, Frank the Tank Parker. Now he's teaming up with the new individual, that being Eddie Browning. And a guy like him who knows tag team wrestling as well as he does, teamed with a guy like Eddie Browning, who was part of something else, the tag team with Johnny Noble for so long. These guys are excellent tag team workers, and that's what they're faced with here tonight. But they've got the upper hand because they've only got to face one man, that being Johnny Noble.
Good point there, Jason. No doubt about it. John Noble is able to control Roger Anderson, at least for the moment. And Roger back up to a vertical base, got a handful of face there, raking at the eyes of John Noble. And Johnny caught Eddie right there, coming in with a hip toss and a nice arm drag takeover there by John Noble, as he's able to control his former tag team partner in Eddie Browning. And I tell you what, John really wanted this match. He wanted it so bad, like we said, he was willing to take on 2 men handicap match just in order to get Eddie in the ring. And Eddie, laying in some hard chops right there on John Noble. But John turns it right around and fires in a series of chops of his own. Back and forth, these former tag team partners go. And Jason, I tell you, these guys were known as something else when they were working together as a team. But this feud that's evolved is certainly something else.
Boy, I tell you what, you're right there, Joe. These two guys have developed a bitter hatred for one another, as we saw the blistering chops there from each individual. And we see Johnny go down from a shoulder tackle. You got to wonder how many times he hits the mat like that right there, how that is going to affect his ribs. With any small fall to the mat, it's going to hurt a little bit. With something like that, that's got to be devastating to the ribs, as you see Eddie Browning continuing to work on the ribs of Johnny Noble.
Absolutely right, Jason. That was a great point you made earlier. Anderson and Browning both, no doubt about it, they know John Noble's hurt. And there you see Roger Anderson just laying in a series of shots to the ribs of John Noble. I mean, just pounding him. And now ripping that brace off. He's ripped that protective brace off the ribs and now using that to choke John Noble as well. And I tell you what, Roger Anderson didn't get the nickname of Ruthless for nothing.
Exactly right. Ripped the brace off of Johnny Noble, and you see the layers of tape still around the ribs of Johnny Noble. But still a lot of heart for this guy to take on two men at one time. He knows Eddie Browning very well because they traveled the roads together. 4 long years, tag team champions. They basically grew up together. Eddie Browning also knows Johnny Noble. But throw into the equation that Eddie Browning has told Roger Anderson everything there is to know about Johnny Noble, whereas maybe on the flip side, Johnny has to study Roger Anderson and get his moves down. I think, again, the 2-on-1 an advantage there, but still you've got to give an even more advantage to the team of Browning and Anderson because of that fact.
Good point there, Jason. You're absolutely right. As Browning got caught again right there. Johnny Noble firing up now. Hard right hand to the side of the head. Takes his former tag team partner right to the buckle. And Eddie goes right to the eyes. And a cheap shot there to turn that momentum right back around just that fast. As these former tag team partners are just trying to rip each other apart right here. And they have really focused their attack on the ribs of John Noble.
I think that's a smart move on their part. And you see Eddie Browning trying to rip the tape away of the ribs of Johnny Noble. He's successful with one strand there, but again, layers of tape around the ribs of Johnny Noble, trying to protect it the best he can. And I don't know, even with those layers of tape, look there with the right hands by Roger Anderson. I don't think even layers of tape and a bandage, you could put, maybe a suit of armor on him. I don't know if that would help against these two guys.
Yeah, that's true. They would certainly try to kick and stomp their way right through it, as Noble is in a lot of trouble here. Slumped down and just now trying to make his way back to his feet as Eddie Browning caught him with a boot right there as he was trying to come back up. Anderson now sets this man up. Perfectly executed vertical suplex right there. This could do it. Referee's in position and only got a 2 count as Johnny was indeed able to kick out of that situation. And now Anderson, look at him meticulously pulling the tape off of John Noble's ribs.
Trying to expose the ribs even more. We saw with that high vertical suplex, the impact right there on the small of the back, but still jarring those ribs. And even if they had healed somewhat, you've got to think in a match like this that maybe it jarred loose a little bit more, maybe cracked a little bit more. Johnny may have injured more ribs. He may have a few more cracked ribs from Eddie Browning and Roger Anderson.
Well, and I'll tell you what, there's nothing like the pain. We got a cover here. Got a 2 count there before Noble was able to kick his shoulder up. But I tell you what, you talk about intense pain when you're talking about cracked or broken ribs, Jason, because every breath you take hurts. Every time you try to fill your lungs with that vital oxygen, it hurts, and it hurts bad. As Anderson now is choking John Noble over in the corner with something. I can't tell exactly what he's got, but he's using something that he's choking Noble with while Eddie Browning's tying up the referee.
Not only does it hurt when you breathe, but it makes it even more difficult to breathe and catch your breath. And Roger Anderson just amplifying that by choking Johnny Noble and taking even more wind out of the sails, if you will. And it's going to be difficult for Johnny to fight back from this.
Absolutely right. I tell you what, you got to admire the fight and tenacity of John Noble, the guts of this young man, just to sign a contract along these lines, facing two men that are bigger than him. But, you got to admire the courage of him to do that. As Eddie Browning, his former tag team partner, now back in there, taking care of business. Oh, and Anderson provided a well-placed knee to the ribs there, Jason.
Once again, continuing to work on the ribs, both the front and the back. You see Eddie with the solid kicks right in the back of Johnny Noble. And I don't know how much more, Joe, to be honest with you, Johnny Noble can take out of this.
Well, that's a very good point, Jason. You're absolutely right. This young man sustained quite a bit of punishment just in this match. not to mention the matches preceding this, as Eddie Browning is just relentlessly stomping and punching away at John Noble, and John slumped down in the corner. And I tell you what, the referee maybe needs to think about stopping this. But no, just as I say that, Noble's firing back. John Noble fires back again with another hard right hand. It's taking everything he's got in him, but he's firing back. Irish whip to the far side. Noble comes across and misses that attempted elbow, once again injuring the rib area.
Costly maneuver there by John Noble. Took the chance and tried to get a big offensive maneuver on Eddie Browning, but Eddie, the pressure of the two, moved out of the way. Johnny Noble ran right into the turnbuckle and again knocks the wind out of the sails and injures those ribs once again.
Anderson with that driving his knee in right there, like you said, right back, keeping that focus right on the ribs, and just slugging away at the chest and rib area as he's pulling back on that arm. If John Noble were to submit right here, I couldn't blame him a bit, because he's just in a tremendous amount of pain, a tremendous amount of pressure as Anderson continuing this assault. And I tell you what, if anybody knows how to make you hurt, it's Roger Anderson, as he even takes a moment to mock the crowd here in Kingsport.
Just, as you said, mocking the crowd, and go back to a point that you made. Wouldn't be surprised rather, if Johnny Noble would submit as a result of what's happened in this match. I'd have to agree with you, and I've seen Johnny Noble compete for quite some time, and it's not like him to give up on a match, give up on anything. He is there to fight. He is there to go right down to the wire, right to the bitter end. But the amount of abuse that he has taken from these two guys in this match is just unbelievable. And right there you see a knee to the back from Roger Anderson.
Absolutely, and that stopped what momentum John Noble had at that point. His former partner, Eddie Browning, brings him back up. Irish whip to the far side. Johnny ducked under that one, ducked under that as well. Both men coming across, and both men with the same idea, going for a clothesline, and both men knocked down now after that double clothesline, Jason. And poor John, he is taking quite a bit of punishment here.
And right here, Joe, here's where the handicap match comes into play. Eddie Browning can crawl over and tag out to the fresh man, Roger Anderson. Johnny Noble has no partner. It's a 2-on-1. Johnny has no one to tag to, so obviously Browning and Anderson can keep the fresh man in at all times and continue to work on Johnny Noble.
Very good point there, Jason, and now they're getting on the same page. They're making sure they're ready to rumble here as, oh my, they've got John in a lot of trouble here as Eddie's holding him. Roger's coming off here. Oh, but wait a minute. That backfired as John Noble's going up. He's going up to the top rope. This gives him the opportunity, his moment to shine right here, and he's on that top rope. Comes across, catches him with a crossbody, fall over Eddie. Referee made the count, and Johnny Noble has won this match.
He wins the 2-on-1. He wins the handicap match. Give the credit to John Noble coming back and winning this match. Unbelievable win for Johnny Noble.
But he may have won that match, but he's paying the price for it now as Eddie Browning and Roger Anderson are going to work on John Noble right here. Oh, they've got him set up for something here. Oh, no, a double power bomb. Just what he really needed on those ribs.
Exactly. Injuring the ribs even more. And you look at Anderson and Browning in the ring. Noble may have won the battle, but it looks like Browning and Anderson won the war this time around.
Wrestling fans, now the very best wrestling action in the Southeast is at your fingertips. That's right, the Appalachian Mountain Wrestling Network is live and online. See the very best wrestlers today competing in traditional, hard-hitting action straight into your living room. See legends of the ring like the Rock and Roll Express, Boogie Woogie Man Jimmy Valiant, Al Snow, Scott Hall, AJ Styles, and many more.
Over 125 hours.
For only $4.99 a month. Yes, it's $4.99 a month. But wait, if you sign up right now, you get a week absolutely free. See the very best from the Southeast and from other promotions all around the world. Go to www.amwwrestlingnetwork.com today. Get your free trial and help make wrestling great again.
as Eddie Browning gets ready. There he is, getting ready to take to the ring. This is the Liberal Open Challenge. Daniel Richards says he'll take on any, quote, conservative redneck in Eastern Kentucky. And Eddie Browning taking on the challenge, and this one is going to be a stiff competition for Daniel Richards, as Eddie Browning has been around the block a time or two. As we get started now, these guys been in action consistently through AMW over the past few weeks here, and man, May 5th, Buckhorn, Kentucky, May 6th, R.W. Combs, two of the biggest cards that we've ever had. We'll talk about more of those as the night goes on, as they lock up here. Eddie Browning got that side headlock going early on, off the ropes. Here they go. Oh, big Liberal body slam there from the Progressive Liberal. Goes for the elbow drop, nobody home. Eddie Browning grabs the wrist, working this wrist lock, asking the crowd, should he break it? He's working on it. Now working on this shoulder. First time that Daniel Richards had his open challenge answered by Mitch Smith. Daniel said that he wished that someone of a little higher stature in AMW would have answered the call. Mentioned Eddie Browning by name, said he wanted Eddie Browning, and now he's got him as he throws the knee to the gut, the elbow to the back of the head on the Driller. Slings him off the ropes. Goes for another body slam, but this time the Driller gets him. Penny combination here. Man, the Driller about won a quick one right there. Browning taking Richards to the mat. Richards trying to utilize maybe an eye rake there, but pushing back, just pushing back on the forehead right now. Nothing illegal there, but we all know Daniel Richards will try anything he can to get an upper hand in the matchup. Skipping ahead here, Eddie Browning into the turnbuckle. Takes another shot from the knee of Daniel Richards. Big time uppercut there. If you guys, as we skipped ahead in the matchup, if you want to see the full matches, you got to come out to our live events. Again, you got two chances, May 5th, Buckhorn, Kentucky, May 6th, Happy, Kentucky. We'll talk more about those later. But, hey, you can also pick up our DVD, Hardwired, available soon. Bringing in Earl Owens, Country Earl Owens on commentary for that one. Will be my partner for that. Man, you guys got to see that. It'll be available before you know it. 2 count only for the Progressive Liberal, but he is starting to get going. A lot of Eddie Browning early on in this matchup, but it looks like the Progressive Liberal Daniel Richards has taken the momentum away for the time being at least. Richards has been saying lately that he is going to liberate Eastern Kentucky. His idea of liberation may be different than some of yours at home, but maybe that's what liberation feels like for Daniel Richards, hitting that big drop kick on the Driller. Drilling the Driller with the drop kick. 2 count only from the Progressive Liberal. Incensed at referee Chris Allen, but it looked like a good call to me there. 2 count, wasn't a slow count, wasn't a fast count. Now referee Chris Allen's going to have to pull Daniel Richards off the rope here. Daniel Richards using that rope to sling Eddie Browning back into the ground. Man, is Eddie Browning in some trouble right now if he can't get things going. Just when you think that he's going to take control of this matchup again, the Progressive Liberal cuts him off. Then down on the ground, working that shoulder, and look at the look on Daniel Richards' face. Locked in at the moment, absolutely locked in. Eddie Browning up to a knee. Could this be where he gets the separation he needs? Oh, I think Browning baited Daniel Richards into that, folks. Richards hit that drop kick moments earlier in this matchup, but he goes for it the second time. Well scouted by Eddie Browning, and that might have been exactly what he needed to turn the tide in this matchup at LBJ Elementary. Big shots from Eddie Browning, and I'm telling you, I've never had to take one of those from him, and I never want to, because he can hit as hard as anyone in the mountains. Richards taken off his feet by the clothesline. Big shot. Another big shot. Richards throws Browning out of the ring, maybe catches breath, and here comes Stan Lee. Oh, and he is out. Eddie Browning takes care of that quick. Eddie going for the sunset flip here. Whoa. That's it. It is a 3 count. Eddie going for the sunset flip. But Richards grabbing the ropes, and Stan Lee, referee not looking, able to help him get the leverage for the pin there, man.
The dictionary defines hero as a person who is admired or idealized for courage, outstanding achievements, or noble qualities. Being a hero in life is far more than words printed on a page. It takes an unwavering code, a compass that points true north, always. And in times like these, it takes sacrifice. Hero shouldn't be a word defined by a dictionary. It's a word that should be defined by the best of us. Hero has a new definition.
Are you a member of a church group? Are you a member of a sports team, local school, volunteer fire department, or any other nonprofit? Partner with Appalachian Mountain Wrestling for a fundraiser to bring money to your organization. Have some fun, a night of professional wrestling, fun for the entire family, earn some money. Partner with Appalachian Mountain Wrestling and help make wrestling great.
Word to pass.
A love and a passion we all share. I've started a wrestling brand. A brand founded on the aspects of wrestling. 2 entities working together to create a product that connects emotionally for people everywhere. From counting the lights in your local armory to main eventing in Korakuen Hall in Tokyo, Japan. Collar and elbow. The wrestling brand.
How's everybody this evening? Yeah. Yeah. All right. I want to thank everybody for allowing me to be here at AMW Freshman to do this. 22 years ago, so it's a long time, I know. Eddie Brown had approached me about getting into the sport of professional wrestling, and he knew he had actually been doing it for about a year and a half times, and he knew that I loved it and grew up watching it, and I always kind of felt like I wanted to do it, but didn't know that the opportunity would ever be there. So Eddie kind of got me with the right people, got me trained, helped train me. To be perfectly honest, beat me up quite a bit of times. But over the past 22 years since I've gotten to know Ed, Ed's become one of my, if not my very best friend, probably even more like my brother. We traveled the roads a lot. We went everywhere from the deep south to Canada together. We tagged for so long, we even fought each other on several occasions if you followed either one of our careers for a while. With Ed, you know, he's as good a friend as anybody could ever hope to have, and he's one of the finest professional wrestlers that's ever walked through Eastern Kentucky. It's my pleasure to be here tonight to introduce my friend and current AMW Hall of Famer, Mr. Eddie Browning.
What's everybody think about John Noble here? You know, first of all, I want to thank John for inducting me into the Hall of Fame. It means a whole lot. Like he's saying, we traveled the road so many times, so many miles, so many hours. Like he said, from the deep south to Canada. Wrestled a lot of good tag teams together. You know, just had a real good time. Want to thank everybody for coming out here tonight. Thank you for supporting independent wrestling. You guys don't know what you mean to every one of these guys in the back here. These guys come out night after night to try to entertain you. They drive long hours. They spend a lot of time away from their families just for you guys. You really don't know what you mean to us. I want to thank you so much for all the support you've given me throughout my career. I want to thank AMW for giving me the opportunity to be in the Hall of Fame. Once again, thank you all.
There you have it, folks. A look into Eddie Browning's career. We could go on and on about the Driller. He's been a part of many great tag teams around this area. Most notably the one with John Noble called Something Else. Him and John had a great tag team run and also a great rivalry at one time. So thanks everybody for tuning in right here each and every week on this station. We'll see you next week right here at ringside.